Hello and welcome to Basic Technology for JSS1 third term week 3 lesson. I'm Kwasi Barida. Today we are going to be looking at the topic freehand sketching, and by the end of this lesson we should be able to define freehand sketching. We should be able to demonstrate techniques of freehand sketching, and we should be able to define pictorial drawing. So these are what we're going to be learning today. So let's get started on freehand sketching. What's freehand sketching? Freehand sketching is a quick way of drawing objects without the use of drawing instruments except pen and a pencil. So you want to do your freehand sketch, you don't make use of your pencil, you don't make use of your meter rule, that's your ruler, you don't make use of your pair of divider, you don't make use of your compass, you don't make use of your set square, you don't make use of any of those instruments or tools. Rather, what you make use of is the pen or the pencil. So that's it for the freehand. And again, the ability to make freehand sketches is valuable asset through practice. Regular practice helps develop one's ability to observe details in an object and then describe it on paper. So the more you practice the freehand sketching, that's the better you get. And if you're not used to doing the freehand sketching, there will be some little things that may be difficult for you to draw with the freehand. But as you keep practicing, you realize that you're getting better and better, and you're getting better and better. So the following are materials required for freehand sketching. So you want to carry out freehand sketching, these are the materials you're going to require. First, you have the paper on which you do your drawing. Next, you have the HB pencil. Next, you have the eraser. Next, you have the sharpener. And next, you have the sketch book. You have the sketchbook. So you can have a paper, and as well you have the sketchbook. So the paper is for maybe you want to start something and you're not sure how it's going to turn. So you make use of your paper. So if you make any mistake, you can easily dispose it. But you do your real work, your real stuff on your sketchbook. So next, let's look at the techniques of sketching. We're going to be highlighting them in this explanation. That's the techniques of sketching. Successful freehand sketching requires learning and using the correct techniques for holding the pencil. Oh, this is interesting. There is a technique, there's a way you hold your pencil when you want to sketch. Sketching straight lines, horizontal lines, slanting lines, vertical lines, arcs, circles, and irregular curves requires special skills also. So you want to carry out any of these, you're going to require special skills to effectively do them, or to sketch them and they look exactly as you want them to be. So now, how to hold the pencil. How do you hold your pencil when you want to do a sketch? There's a way to hold your pencil. The pencil should be held slightly 4 centimeters away from the points. What that means is, when you hold your pencil, you don't want to hold it too close to the tip. So you give a distance of at least 4 centimeters away from the tip of the pencil. So it should also be at slanting position of about 60 degrees for vertical when drawing straight lines, and above 30 degrees when drawing arcs and circles. So when you want to draw a line, you slant the pencil to 60 degrees from the vertical. You slant your pencil 60 degrees from the vertical. So this is, you have the vertical like this, then you want to slant your pencil 60 degrees to or from the vertical, so it goes all the way down, and 60 degrees from the vertical, so it goes all the way down. So when you want to draw a straight line, you have to keep it at that angle to get the best result, to get the best output, or to get the perfect straight line, or to get something good. So you have to keep it at that angle. Then if once you keep it above 30 degrees, you keep it above 30 degrees when drawing arcs and circles. So you keep your pencil at an angle above 30 degrees when drawing arcs and circles. In the process of drawing, the pencil should be rotated slightly to achieve clean and even spread of the lid as the line is being drawn. So as you're doing your drawing, you won't hold your pencil at that same position for long. As you do your drawing, every once in a while slightly you turn. So when you're turning, because as you're drawing, that part of the pencil, part of the lid that you're using to draw is being eaten up, and that place is going down, So as you turn it slightly, you give it a fresh start. You bring a new surface, a new point for you to use to do your drawing. So it makes your drawing looks finer, makes your drawing looks clean, and it also spreads the lid as the line is being drawn. So take note of those. It's very key when holding your pencil for a sketch. So next, let's see how to sketch squares and rectangles. First, you draw your horizontal and vertical center lines. So you draw your vertical and horizontal center lines. Then the next thing you're going to do is to locate equally spaced points on the lines. So you have your horizontal line, you have your vertical line, so you're going to have an equally spaced points on the line. So you have like this is the center. So from this center to this place you have 1 point. Then the distance between this center now and this point and the next one should be equal, so something like that, equally spread on both the horizontal and vertical line. So for the vertical line you have like that. So from here to here you have a point, from here to here you have a point, just like that. You have points on both the vertical and the horizontal lines. Then the next thing you're going to do is to sketch thin horizontal and vertical lines through the outer points to form the square. So you want to draw a square. Remember, a square is a shape that has all of its sides equal. So what that means is you've made your dots on your vertical and the horizontal line. So if you count 2 steps, remember they are equal. The spacings are equal. So if you count 2 steps on this other side, it has to be 2 steps on the left of the horizontal. Then it has to be 2 steps at the top of the vertical and 2 steps at the base of the vertical. So when you do that, you put marks at those points and you join the points. So when you do that, you form your square. So after doing that, next thing you're going to do is to correct the mistakes. Maybe as you're doing it, some of the lines are not coming out straight enough, and remember, you're not pressing down your pencil so hard, you're not pressing it down so hard. So you do that so you can easily correct your mistakes. Then once you've gotten it right, you can now position your pencil like you're supposed to, you handle your pencil properly, you position it properly to draw the straight lines, a thick one this time, to bring out your square. And you're going to use this same procedure used to draw your square to draw the rectangle as well. So let's see brief steps on what we just talked about, how to draw the square, how to do a sketch, not a draw now, how to do a sketch of the square. So first of all, you say you should get your vertical and horizontal center line, so you can see that's the vertical and the horizontal center line. Then the next thing you need to do is to locate equally spaced points on the line. So you can see that these ones, they are not exactly equal, but that's what it should be like. It should be equal. You can see the points on the horizontal, you can see the one on the vertical. Then the next thing is to join the points. You can see that you draw a straight line on the points and join all of them, so that gives us the square. So remember, you follow exactly the same procedure to get your rectangle. And to draw a rectangle, first of all, you get the horizontal and vertical center line, and next you locate the points equally spaced, and next you do the sketch. You sketch the horizontal and vertical lines joining the points, and next you correct mistakes if there is any, and taking the lines. So that's how you sketch your rectangles and squares, or your squares and rectangles. So next, how to sketch circles and arcs. First is to locate the center of the circle with a point. So the first thing you're going to do, you get a space where you want the circle to be, then you get a point where you want the center of the circle to be. So you're choosing the points. Then after choosing the points, the next thing you have to do is to sketch the vertical and the horizontal line through the points. So you've gotten the points, that's the center of your circle. Then at that point that I've chosen as the center of your circle, the next thing you're going to do is to draw a vertical and a horizontal line. And the vertical and horizontal line, they are meeting at that point, being the center of your circle. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to add two other diagonal lines. That's two slanting lines. You have one slanting to the left, you have the other. You have one slanting to the right, you have the other slanting to the left. So that gives you so when you have it that way, so now you have the vertical and the horizontal line, there you have the slanted or the diagonal lines. Then the next thing you're going to do is to estimate the radius of the circle you want to sketch, then lay off on the horizontal, vertical, diagonal lines. So now you have the vertical, the horizontal and diagonal lines. So you have a radius for the circle you want to draw, so you lay out a point. Then you're going to do the same thing. Let's say you did it on the vertical at the top, you're going to do the same thing on this other side of the diagonal. So it goes like that. You just make a point, put dots like that all around, and make sure it's equally distant from the center, that point that I choose as the center of the circle. So through these points, lines are drawn to intersect the line at right angle. So you have a vertical, you have a horizontal. Then at this point, what's explaining is you have something like a vertical line, something like a perpendicular line at the points you made all around on both the horizontal and vertical lines. So at that point you draw an intersect line at the right angle. Then the next thing you're going to do is to sketch arcs to touch the perpendicular at the point of intersection. So you sketch arcs at those points. You sketch arcs like that all around. Remember that those points, they are equally distant from the center of the circle. And next thing you're going to do is to fill the next you're going to do, the circle is filled by filling the gaps between the arcs. So remember, you just did arcs at those points that you made. So at those points that you made, the arcs now, they are not wide enough. So the next thing you're going to do now is to now you're going to hold your pencil properly when you want to do this. So you make an arc joining the arc that you made on this vertical to each other diagonal. So it goes like that from diagonal to this horizontal. So just like that until you have your complete circle. Until you have a complete circle. So we have something like that. So that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. So that's for a freehand sketch of a circle. So remember, you need to practice it as much as possible. Do so much practice. That's how you get good at it. As you practice it, you get better. So now, pictorial sketching. What is pictorial sketching? A pictorial sketch is a sketch that shows the length, the width, and the height of an object. That means a pictorial sketch gives you 3 dimensions to an object, unlike a plain drawing or a plain shape, and just gives you 2 dimensions. So a pictorial or a pictorial sketching, in that case, you're doing a sketch of a 3-dimensional object. This type of sketching is very useful because the shape of an object described in pictorial form is much easier to understand. Pictorial sketching is done on 3 main axes known as vertical axis, left receding axis, and right receding axis. So we have it shown there. So those are the pictorial axis, the 3 axes. You have the vertical axis, the right receding axis, and the left receding axis. So this is like a base for your pictorial drawing. It's like a base for a pictorial drawing. So you want to get the height, you use the vertical. You want to get the length and the width, you use the right receding and the left receding lines to get those. So next and finally, let's see how to do a freehand sketch of a block. So the first thing you're going to do is to sketch a 3 axis. You're going to sketch the 3 axis. So the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. Remember, we gave a name to those axes, and what are they? Say the vertical axis, the right receding axis, and the left receding axis. So between these axes, you have an angle of 120 degrees apart, 120 degrees that separates them. So the next thing you're going to do is, on the axis, mark off OX. So at the point where the 3 axes meet, that's like the so that's your O. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's the O. So you have your OX as O to the end of one of the axes, OX, OY, and OZ. Then completes the figure as shown below. So if you do that, it's going to give you this. So you can see the O, the OX, OZ, the OY. So I haven't gotten your X, Y, and Z. You have just 3 lines. So at the base for your Y, you're going to draw another one, like you're drawing another x there, so you want to draw another 3 axes. That's at that point, you have point of y. But in this case now, you're not doing the downward vertical axis, so you just have this, the one on the right one and the one on the left. So at the tail end of the one on the left, you join the x down, so you do the same thing for the z. So by the time you do that, you connect all the points together, then it's going to give you a block. So that's it for today's lesson on freehand sketching. So before we leave, let's do a little recap, a little summary of what we've learned today. So first, we started by defining freehand sketching. We say freehand sketching is one that you do without your drawing instruments. You don't make use of your drawing aids. The only instruments you use to do your freehand sketching is either your pen and your pencil and your paper. So those are the instruments that, or the materials that are used to do your freehand sketching. And next, we talked about demonstrating techniques of freehand sketching. So we explained the techniques of drawing using the freehand. How that's when you want to draw a vertical or a horizontal line, you slant the pencil 60 degrees from the vertical. So that's how you draw your vertical and horizontal lines. Then you want to draw your arc or your circle, so it should be 30 degrees above. It should be 30 degrees above for your circle and your arcs. Then finally, we talked about pictorial drawing, pictorial sketching. So for the pictorial sketching, pictorial sketching is sketching that gives you 3 dimensions of objects. So in pictorial sketching, we are doing a sketch of 3-dimensional objects. So we have the height, the width, and the length. So that's it for today. That's it for this class. I'm going to meet again in our next class. So thank you very much for your time. Till we meet again, God bless you. Bye bye.